Hello, hello, my green skins. And today I can finally do the death battle. It took a little longer than expected. Life can be interesting. So, we will be talking about our winner of our three polls. I had the Discord poll for my own personal Discord, we had our YouTube poll, and we had a Twitter poll that never really took off, but that's no big deal. We are going to be talking about Goodfellas. Now, I've heard people say, what is the best mobster movie? And there's always like a toss up between those movies. Like, it's this movie, that movie, it's this movie, it's that movie. But we can all say that Godfather was the progenitor of the modern day mobster movie. But Goodfellas was the movie that perfected it. And that is something you cannot say enough. What an amazing movie. And personally an all-time favorite. I actually watched this. This was a weird thing. I used to see Goodfellas on Canadian Thanksgiving. Used to have Goodfellas on all day. So I would actually, it was very similar to that Christmas Story. There was a time when I had seen Goodfellas so much when I was younger, I actually thought it was a 12-hour movie, even though it's not a 12-hour movie. I was shocked at how well this gangster movie portrayed itself, and it's so well done. It's impressive. So let's break it down with the acting. I'm going to reverse this uh, a little bit. We're first going to start with, Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci is an amazing rabbit dog mentality. And he can turn it on and turn it off. Like, this guy can be sweet. He has that energy, and then he can just turn on this, like, psycho Rottweiler type mentality. And it works perfect for the character he's playing. Robert De Niro, okay. Fuck. There's a big, huge cast in here. I'm only going to go through the three big ones. But there's a massive cast. De Niro is good at playing De Niro. That's the best way to put him. If you can't have him play a character that isn't De Niro. Like, I've never seen him play a character I thought like he could hide himself in a role. Same with Pesci. Pesci's very hard to hide himself in a role, but he can kind of turn it on and off. Now, Ray Liotta. Ray is not only our narrator, which gives us amazing narration. He's also really good in this. He's not perfect, but there's moments where you're like, huh? And he kind of gets that energy that he's like shit half the time. He's like, oh crap, like there's this moment where he's like, oh crap moments. And there's a lot of times where you're like, yeah, okay, I can see why he thinks that and why he's like the things he says and how he says it. He's good at playing this guy that almost seems weaselly, but at the same time seems like a good guy. Nobody here is a nice guy for character actors, but the rest of the cast, I mean, is amazing. Holy fuck, like, such good acting all the way through. One of the best casts I've ever seen. It was great. And I liked it. So, yeah, no, amazing cast. Now let's get to the music. Music in this is phenomenal. And there's a reason I kind of was... You know how sometimes I go right to the story, then I do the little side ops? These are so short compared to this story that I have to kind of do these in an interesting way. And it's going to be kind of a fun thing with the story. But the music is well done. They follow all the way up through this Henry Hill character. His entire life story. From start to his end. And so you get to hear the music of his entire life. And it fucking works. It really does work. And it's really well done. Great job overall. Next, we're going to get to the story, and I'm going to kind of meld the story and the look and the theme work, like the visual work for this. So, the story is the life of Henry Hill, a mobster. Starts off as a kid that gets in with the mob, and just like a local mob, and then it slowly builds up to when he inevitably takes down that local mob when he runs into witness protection because he realizes his life is over. And this is a career criminal from I think age 13 all the way up to his adult years. So you get a fun life cycle of this man. And he ends up becoming a buddy with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci's characters. And they do some insane shit. Like De Niro, I guess, is a mobster, is like a hitman for the family, and Pesci's just a rabid dog. Like he's just your criminal, and he's a funny guy. Like I love some of the moments. Like there's some of the greatest scenes that's been portrayed 100 times over, even in the Goodfellas. You know what? Am I funny? Am I funny to you? What am I, a clown? I don't know. What are you saying, Henry? Are you saying that I'm a clown? I don't know what you're saying. It's like he's looking at me. What? You're funny, man. What am I, a clown? Am I a clown? It's like I love that moment, and I love that. Like that's his childhood friend, and there's just some great moments. They're just laughing away, and they're it's great. It's so good because it's like crazy moments, and it's fun to watch. And in a way, you get to see who these guys are. And from Henry's point of view, it's really enjoyable. Like you get to see his environment. But the filming in this is so well done too. And it's not a fast-paced mobster movie. Well, there really hasn't been a fast-paced mobster movie since the early era of filming. Very slow pace. And there's a lot of times, there's great moments. Like one of my other favorite moments in that movie is the time where there's a dolly shot. There's this great shot where they're coming through and they're like, Ray Liotta is narrating, oh, it's this guy, it's Johnny Two Tones, you know, because he says everything dice. How you doing? How you doing? You know, like there's these moments in there. They're so well done. The murder montage is amazing. Great film work. You get like the shots, the wide scoping shots. Like I don't see this much in movies anymore. Like I think the only one that did some interesting shots was John Wick recently. Like I don't know, sometimes like you get some good shots, but good action shots. But I haven't seen a slow mover that I really liked as much as I liked this movie. It is slow, but it's so good. I think it's just absolutely fun watching this guy's life. And like I said, it's a destructive life. He is not a good person in any way, shape, or form. And when he drags his wife, what was her name now? Shit. You know, they said their name. He said his name 100 times and I can't remember. Bad habit of mine. His wife also kind of leads into the career, and she becomes a mobster's wife. And there's a great scene between them where you can tell it's starting to wear on Henry. The life of crime is starting to make him like nervous that someone's going to kill his ass. And his wife has a moment where he's aiming a gun, like puts a gun right in his face because he's been whoring around. He still technically whores around, but it's like the life still kind of exists. It's funny how these mobsters in this story are all family men. They all have wife and kids and wife and this and that. And like there's the wedding scene, for example, where everyone's named Polly, and they're all part of this business. And it works out pretty fun. Like I like the whole idea of the mobsters like sitting in sweat tracksuits in the prison. And they even go into meats and stuff and like the fun stuff they do with foods and cooking and stuff. It's so crazy. And this character, like I said, not a nice human being. And in the end, he starts getting heavy into drugs because, well, drugs. drugs kept his family afloat. They really did have things like it did kind of, and it shows kind of how the mob sort of fell apart. It was the fact that the cone of silence, and that the family would get taken care of, and then when that stopped happening, mobsters started turning like you wouldn't believe, and they started trying to make money for themselves. And when that happened, things started moving. Like when his wife was living, like he saw how his wife and kids were living, his two daughters, and he's like, pack your things. We're moving out now. And he sold all this drugs in the thing, and there's great moments. And if it wasn't for the narration and some of the great shots in this movie, I think this movie is a little bit of everything in this movie works. If they had made this a raw action movie, this would have failed miserably. But this works, and with the actors they had, like I said, Ray Liotta is amazing in this movie. I think this is his best movie by far. I know he's been in other stuff. I liked some of the TV shows he was in, but he was an amazing actor, and this was his greatest role, and it was so well done. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. I just gushed over this. I didn't mean to do that, but Jesus fuck, it's Goodfellas. This story is pretty simple. It's the life of a mobster and what he goes through and the things he sees and does. And it works from like boy to man. It's an absolutely amazing story. I don't want to ruin too much if you haven't seen it, but if you've never seen a mobster movie, I actually say this is the one, if you don't mind what it is. Now I'm going to get to complaints. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, what the fuck are you talking about? Complaints? Complaint for this movie? What the fuck complaint can anybody have from this movie? It is slow. And to a lot of people, a slow movie is not going to be their cup of tea. Like, I've tried to explain to people, this is a movie of nuances. This is a movie that you take in. If you're watching this movie for, an action-packed fest, you are not watching this movie right. And that's the problem. I think it's an amazing movie. One of the best movies I've ever seen. And one of the best mobster movies of all time. If not the best. We're going to find out shortly what's the best one. And this one is amazing. But I can understand why people make complaints. What am I going to rate this movie? Well, I think I'd get in trouble if I rated this anything other than a 9. Like, this is definitely a 9, and one of my personal favorite movies of all time. And we're going to be talking about two other of my very favorite movies of all time. And mobster movies. For mobster, and definitely the favorite mobster movie of all time for me. If I was to put it in mobster movies as a whole, like, this is damn near almost perfect. I like this, and I thought this was well done. Yeah, perfect movie. So next, on the next Orc War Chief Reviews, we will be doing the next death battle. I'll be putting up in my Discord poll and my other poll, we will be putting up Scarface versus the Untouchables. And then we're going to have a face-off between those two, who's going to be the top leader on that one. All right, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for the long wait. Again, temperatures have been kind of hot, and life sucks. You got to get stuff done. So stuff is done, so I can finish this off. All right, I will see you guys next time on Orc War Chief Reviews. Have a good day.